kidney doctor probably told you that dialysis is a life sentence. But what if I told you there is a doctor proving them completely wrong? A nephrologist who has published multiple case reports of patients literally walking away from the dialysis machine, including this woman who was able to get her GFR from 8.4 end stage all the way back to 30.8 stage 3. And today, I am going to unveil the secret protocol that saved her. Catherine here, I'm a doctor of natural medicine. I have worked with nephrologists my entire career, but there is one doctor, one nephrologist whose work is nothing short of a miracle. You won't find anyone else publishing studies nearly as impressive. His name is Dr. Ömer Toprak, head of nephrology at Balıkesir Hospital in Turkey. He has published what is probably the longest, most jaw-dropping list of case reports in medical history of patients discontinuing dialysis for good, even after being trapped on the machine for 8 years. It's true, because while some doctors treat the dialysis machine as the finish line, this nephrologist, he treats it like a prison, and he is breaking his patients out by using a holistic, gut-focused approach. And here is the absolute best part. Using your gut as a third kidney works in every single stage of the disease, whether you are in stage 3 fighting to stop the progression or in stage 5 desperately trying to delay the machine. This protocol just works. That is exactly why today I am exposing the exact 7-point protocol this nephrologist is using to literally save his patients from the machine. Starting with number 7, the jujube fruit. Fact, there is absolutely no escaping dialysis if your gut is sluggish. And there is one exotic fruit that can change everything. The jujube fruit, also known as the Chinese date. Its extract, juice, and vinegar have been revered in traditional medicine for their massive kidney protecting effects. Studies confirm this fruit prevents high blood pressure, fights diabetes, and actively restores kidneys. But this little fruit from Eastern Asia holds a secret weapon. It is a potent natural laxative. It is packed with anthraquinones, the exact same compounds found in powerful plant laxatives like senna. Actually, jujube syrup was recently compared to polyethylene glycol, a compound laxative, and found to be just as effective, but incredibly enough, safer. And now you might ask, but why does making you go to the bathroom matter so much? Because here is the brutal truth. If your failing kidneys cannot take out the trash anymore, the toxins are piling up in your blood, poisoning you. If a patient wants to escape dialysis, they must use their gut as a third kidney. Without a machine or a transplant, your gut is the only emergency exit to flush that toxic waste out, right? It is not a coincidence that every single patient Dr. Toprak saved from dialysis was consuming jujube daily. And they were also consuming raw jujube vinegar. Yes, this fruit has one more powerful kidney-saving property. It can be used to make a vinegar with probiotic boosting properties. Science, in fact, shows that jujube vinegar increases lactobacillus in the gut, which is amazing because when lactobacillus goes up, toxic uremic waste goes down. Those are the exact toxins that destroy your cells and force people into the dialysis chair. This is why patients fighting to get off dialysis were prescribed both the jujube fruit to speed up the gut's exit door and jujube vinegar to build the bacteria army. This fruit is an amazing natural way of kickstarting the kidneys back to life. But what if we can't find jujube or jujube vinegar, you ask? Well, don't worry, I have alternatives to both. Number 6, probiotics foods. As I was saying, Toprak's kidney care, the exact protocol this nephrologist uses to pull dialysis patients off the machine, relies heavily on using your gut as a third kidney. But let's be real, you cannot build a third kidney with just a tiny splash of jujube vinegar, especially if you can't even find it in your local stores, alright? So what are the absolute best alternatives? Let's look at this infographic I created for you. These are some of the most powerful plant-based probiotic sources on earth. The probiotic in these foods are absolutely needed if the goal is avoiding the machine, alright? I have also included Renabiotic from renabiotech.co for comparison, so you can see exactly how these whole foods stack up against a medical grade supplement. Anyway, the first food item to consider is raw apple cider vinegar, or ACV in short. This was actually the official recommended substitute in Dr. Toprak's protocol for patients who couldn't find jujube vinegar. Because here's the thing, most people only use ACV for blood sugar control, but they are completely missing its greatest power. Because just like jujube vinegar, raw ACV contains the mother, which means that even a tiny amount, just 3 milliliters a day, can help increase the amount of kidney protecting bacteria in your gut. But if you look at the infographic, there are heavy hitters you need to consider. Sauerkraut is an incredible choice, and it was actively used to help several of these patients escape dialysis. Authentic sauerkraut contains multiple bacterial strains, delivering anywhere from 10 million to 10 billion colony-forming units. But listen to me carefully, not all sauerkraut has these huge numbers. In fact, the cheap brands on the supermarket shelf have zero probiotics. They have been pasteurized, and this destroys all the good bacteria. If you want to use sauerkraut as medicine, you must find a raw, unpasteurized brand that clearly states live, active cultures on the label. And we can say the exact same thing for kimchi. But what to choose? Kimchi or sauerkraut? Well, kimchi has some pros and some cons. The pros: kimchi is usually less salty than sauerkraut because it relies heavily on spice, and it boasts a massive diversity of bacterial strains. The cons: it can be harder to find, and it still contains sodium you have to account for. And don't get me wrong, Dr. Toprak is prescribing both to his patients, and they are getting off dialysis thanks to these probiotic-rich foods. Now, if you want something with absolutely zero sodium, consider kombucha. Unlike kimchi and sauerkraut, which are fermented entirely by bacteria, kombucha is fermented by a SCOBY, which is a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. This means you are getting a potent mix of beneficial yeast and bacteria, introducing completely different strains to your gut. This is fantastic for kidney health, but it comes with a dangerous catch. The SCOBY needs sugar to ferment. My strict advice: only drink kombucha if you do not have diabetes, and even then, hunt down a brand with the absolute lowest added sugar possible. Don't drink liquid candy. Finally, we have plant-based yogurts. These are fantastic simply because they actually taste like yogurt, not sour cabbage. Let's be honest, you are much more likely to eat yogurt every day than a bowl of fermented cabbage. There are some great plant-based brands that pack serious probiotics, mostly lactobacillus strains, which are amazing. But again, flip the bottle around and double check the label for live cultures. Now you might be asking the big question, will adding these foods to our diets really make a difference? Yes, they will, because here is the medical breakthrough. We now know that the right probiotics don't just help with digestion, they don't just boost immunity, nope, they can directly do the filtering job your kidneys are failing to do. Look at this case report. This woman was permanently saved from the machine after being trapped on hemodialysis for 7 long years. How? With a protocol aimed at turning her gut into her third kidney. And guys, reading miraculous case reports exactly like this one is what drove me to create Renabiotic, my very own custom probiotic supplement. Because here is the brutal truth. If you look back at that infographic, it is mathematically clear. You get way more probiotics from a single tiny Renabiotic capsule than from eating all of those fermented foods combined. And these aren't just random casual bacteria you found on a piece of cabbage. Every single one of the 30 billion colony-forming units inside Renabiotic is a highly trained soldier deployed with one specific mission: eating the toxic waste your kidneys are failing to remove: creatinine, urea, uric acid, inductyl sulfate. These are poison for your kidneys, but they are an all-you-can-eat buffet for the good bacteria in Renabiotic. Yes, giving your kidneys the chance to improve they deserve is exactly why I created Renabiotic from renabiotech.co. This is the first probiotic supplement in the world formulated specifically for the gut of a real CKD patient. It is completely low FODMAP. That means it is flawlessly safe for extreme gut sensitivity, no severe bloating, no stomach pain, no getting worse before you maybe get better, like it happens with most probiotics. And don't get me wrong, adding real probiotic-rich foods to your diet is amazing and you should do it. But forcing yourself to eat pungent kimchi, sour sauerkraut, and shots of vinegar every single day can cause massive diet fatigue. And if you give up after a week, it doesn't help you at all. On the other hand, getting 30 billion specialized kidney-protecting strains is as effortless as swallowing a single Renabiotic pill with your breakfast. So if you want the ultimate biological tool fighting for your kidneys, get Renabiotic from Renabiotech. The link is in the description. Up next, number 4, let's talk about how to beat constipation. So here's the thing. CKD patients have staggering high rates of constipation, up to 40% in end-stage kidney disease. And this is not surprising. Most CKD patients are scared to death of potassium and they don't eat fruits and vegetables for that reason. On top of that, a long list of the drugs that are in your medicine cabinet are known to mess up your gut flora. And this is a much bigger problem than most people realize. If you are constipated, it's not just your creatinine level that's going to go up. Your potassium will skyrocket as well. What happens next is that you are told to eat even less fruit and vegetables, and this raises your potassium. You also get another binder. Boom! Third strike. You are never pooping anymore now. And remember that the goal of the protocol is getting the patient off dialysis by using the gut. So, how to make your gut do its job again? Well, first of all, if you actually are constipated, get a prescription for a laxative, alright? But don't get a stimulant one like Dulcolax. They can cause diarrhea, not what we want. Osmotic laxatives such as polyethylene glycol are a lot safer. And if you want something more natural, flaxseed oil is not just a powerful natural laxative, it's also kidney protective. So here's the bottom line. Toxins have to go out either via your urine or your stool. If your kidneys aren't working properly and your gut isn't working properly either, toxins are going to stay in your body forever. Take a laxative if needed and make sure you are getting enough fiber every day, either from foods or from supplements like Rena Fiber. And this brings us to our number 3, which is extremely important. So until now, we discussed the nuclear option, fermented foods, dietary changes, laxatives. But for a lot of people, the cause for constipation is a lot simpler. Dehydration. So yeah, if you tried laxative supplements, dietary changes without drinking a large glass of water first, well, congratulations, that's like rebuilding the entire engine only to discover the car was just out of gas. And that's exactly why you want to drink at least 8 glasses of water per day and at regular intervals, unless you have been prescribed a fluid intake restriction, of course. But those with diabetes may have one more reason to drink lots of water during the day. Fact: the kidneys need plenty of water to flush out excess toxins from the body, including excess sodium, urea, creatinine, and also sugar. Science says that when you are dehydrated, you are more at risk for a glycemic spike. So protect your kidneys, drink more water. And let's see the next step, number 2, the medication audit. Let's talk about the pills sitting in your medicine cabinet right now, because here is a hidden danger that Dr. Tuprak realized was secretly sabotaging his patients, their prescription medications. It's true. Most CKD patients are handed a massive cocktail of medications like PPIs for heartburn or metformin for diabetes that are supposed to help. But what are they actually doing? They are actually destroying their gut microbiome. This is why one of the main steps Dr. Tuprak uses to get his patients off dialysis is a thorough medication regimen review. For example, proton pump inhibitors are especially dangerous at the point that there is a huge lawsuit for patients that ended up in dialysis due to taking stuff like Prevacid, Prilosec, and more. Yes, you can destroy your kidneys by taking common medications. PPIs in particular are supposed to help, but they cause irreversible damage to your gut microbiome. When you destroy those good bacteria, toxic bacteria take over the vacant real estate. They flood your system with even more uremic waste, sending your kidneys into a fatal death spiral of gut permeability and raging inflammation. And guys, it gets even worse. A staggering number of the standard medications prescribed to CKD patients actually become toxic as you reach stage 4 and 5. Look at this table closely. Are you taking any of this while in stage 4 or 5? Because medications that were perfectly safe in stage 2 can become a massive liability in stage 5. Take potassium-sparing diuretics like spironolactone. If your kidneys are struggling and you are swallowing this pill, you are practically guaranteeing a dangerous potassium spike. This is exactly why Dr. Toprak's protocol is so revolutionary. To save his patients from the machine, he didn't just blindly treat a pair of failing kidneys, he treated the whole human. To escape the machine, they were prescribed the foods we saw in the beginning of the video. Yes, by their nephrologists. They were prescribed probiotics. They were prescribed natural ways to deal with constipation and to lower their blood pressure. And on top of it, Dr. Toprak said something bold. He said that all drugs should be prescribed by a nephrologist who puts kidney health first. Sadly, your general practitioner isn't doing this. Your cardiologist isn't doing this. They are treating your heart or your stomach and letting your kidneys take the collateral damage. So here is your homework. Force your doctor to review your entire medication list today. Demand that they confirm every single pill is actually compatible with your current GFR. Because if you want to avoid the machine, your kidneys must come first. And yeah, I know, right? It sounds crazy. Why going through all that when you could simply spend $90,000 a year and 16 hours a week doing dialysis? Anyway, if you are still here, it's time for the last step of the protocol to get off dialysis. Number 1, sweat therapy. Okay guys, so we use the gut to clear out the toxic waste, but to fully replace the work of a dialysis machine, we have to solve the second critical problem, excess fluid. Your kidneys aren't just filters, they are your body's master water pumps. When they struggle, your body literally becomes overwhelmed with trapped fluid, swelling, skyrocketing blood pressure, heavy breathing. So if the internal pump is broken and we refuse to use the dialysis machine, how do we drain the excess? Dr. Toprak deployed a brilliant biological hack. If the gut is your third kidney, he turned the skin into the fourth through targeted sweat therapy. When you sweat, you aren't just losing water. You are actively sweating out potassium, sodium, and toxic urea. You are literally purging dialysis level waste right through your pores. Now listen to me. Unlike taking probiotics, this is an advanced clinical protocol. Fluid shifting is serious business. You must get your doctor's absolute approval before jumping into a sauna or starting a strict sweat regimen. But this proves that your body can be supported to do incredible things. If you want to know exactly how to sweat therapy works to save your kidneys, click the video on your screen right now and I will see you there. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye!